coming up on Retirement Solutions Television.
But think about it. When we're building this house, we don't just start by throwing up some plywood and really just starting to hammer. We have a blueprint that we put in place.
Understanding which vehicle you have is very, very important. I mean, Mark, as we know, there's good and bad mutual funds, there's good and bad annuities, there's good and bad real estate. It comes down to understanding what your individual need is and then designing and optimizing a plan to meet your needs.
That's always the goal, Mark, is to get as close to zero in paying taxes as possible. We're going to structure somebody's Boss Retirement Blueprint, the money that they take out first from the income bucket, to be as tax-free as possible. But at the same time, if there's required minimum distributions and some other things going on, we're going to structure it all the way along throughout their retirement life to minimize those taxes. That's automatically what we do as part of that planning process.
And now your hosts of Retirement Solutions Television, the Retirement Brothers, Tyson and Ryan Thacker.
Hi, and welcome to Retirement Solutions Television. I'm Tyson Thacker along with my brother Ryan Thacker, and we are the Retirement Brothers.
We've got a great show for you right here, right now. Join us. It's all about retirement solutions.
Hi, and welcome to this week's AskBossRetirement.com, where you send your questions in to us, and we answer them right here on the show. Ryan, you ready for the first one?
I am. Let's roll, Mark.
All right, here we go. I've never been confident in the Social Security system. I'm planning on using all of my own money and not planning on using anything from Social Security. However, I'd like to bank on that. What do you think? Will it be there or won't it be there?
Well, this is a great question, and it's one that we receive all the time. In fact, many people feel like there's no way that the Social Security system continue to run on its current pace. Here's how we feel about it. We feel like this system is going to be here. Social Security will be the very last check that goes away of all the different investment and retirement accounts. And here's the reason why. Right now, 12.4% of every paycheck between you and your employer, or if you're self-employed, goes into this retirement account called Social Security. Now that's your money. Here's the other thing, is the baby boomer generation. Who votes more, the baby boomers or the millennials? It's very, very clear the baby boomers vote more, and they are going to make sure that when they vote for the politicians, they're going to keep Social Security in place. Number 3 is they're talking about making adjustments to Social Security. Increasing the payroll tax on Social Security. They're already increasing the limits every year. Right now, it's over 100,000. They keep lifting that limit. Also, they keep pushing back the age. Remember, Mark, when you could get that Social Security check at 65? Now it's 66, 66 in a few months, 67. They're going to continue to push that out. So, I wouldn't be overly concerned about your Social Security because that will be the last check. But here's what you can do. You can create a plan with your other assets. If, like he mentioned here, he was kind of planning on Social Security as a little bit of extra gravy. Well, for many people, that's a luxury they can't afford to do. But in this case, if that was the case, look at all the other retirement accounts, create a strategy, and if you invest correctly and invest right, you may not need all of that Social Security, but we want to make sure we have a plan that goes along with it.
Thanks, Ryan. My next question is from Jerry in Orem, and he writes, Ryan, I have no children or close family, and I'm perfectly content to spend my last dollar right before I die. Does that change the type of things that I should invest in for my retirement income compared to most people that you advise?
Jerry, here's the deal. You can go blow that last dollar, right? If that's your goal, we have 3 groups of clients. The first one says, I want to bounce the last check to the undertaker. That's kind of one extreme. On the opposite end, you have the families that say, I'm not going to go travel. I'm not going to fulfill the prescriptions that I need. I'm going to scrimp and save. I'm not going to do the things that I want because it was so hard for us to get a leg up in life that we want to pass as much on as we can to our kids. And that's okay too. And then there's kind of a group in the middle that says, if the money's there, great. If it's not there, great. And so it sounds like Jerry's in this position where he wants to blow the last dollar. If that's your goal and that's your desire, what that simply means is you can spend more money today than if you were going to try to pass something on. But here's what I also recommend. Come on in, sit down with us, Jerry. Let us take a look at your own individual investment portfolio, and let's give you some advice, and let's just test it to make sure it's going to last as long as you need it to last.
Ryan, thanks so much. Hey, if you'd like to have your question answered here on the show, it's really easy. Just go to AskBossRetirement.com and send us those questions. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're watching Retirement Solutions Television, Utah's Retirement TV.
You made it. Years of hard work, investing, planning, and now you're here. The long-awaited reward you spent a lifetime looking forward to. But what now? After years of growing a nest egg, now you may want to manage it. Use it to fund your dreams. Make it last as long as you need it. And leave some for those you love. So what do? Wall Street continues to be uncertain, and some conservative options have dropped through the floor. How do you maintain opportunities for growth and reduce risk of loss from market changes? That's where we come in. We are financial professionals. From investments and insurance products to tax reduction strategies and guaranteed retirement income you cannot outlive, provided by the claims-paying ability of insurance companies. You've worked a lifetime to get here. Let us help you enjoy it to the fullest. For a complimentary consultation, simply contact us today.
Having no clear retirement plan is a mistake I see a lot in my financial planning office when I meet someone for the first time. It is extremely rare that someone comes in and has a clearly defined income plan for his or her retirement. One way you'll be able to get a clearly defined retirement income plan is to talk to an independent financial advisor who specializes in retirement planning. Not someone who specializes in getting you to retirement, but someone who is dedicated getting you through retirement. If you don't have a clear retirement plan, then be one of the first 5 callers and you'll receive a free complimentary planning review. There's no obligation and no cost if you have at least $200,000 saved for retirement. Here's what you'll receive: a free report to sort through your current advisor costs, a tailored plan to guard your investments, tax analysis to reduce your tax liability and increase your cash flow, and a customized income plan to boost your retirement. Plus, you'll receive a budget assessment to help you manage your cash flow. So call now for your free, no obligation financial review.
You're watching Retirement Solutions Television, Utah's Retirement TV.
This week, I want to share with you the concept of our financial house. This really goes back to the days where you heard the story that the wise man built his house upon the rock versus the foolish man building his house upon the sand. And the difference between those two as it relates to your own financial house, really your own retirement as you go to and through retirement as well. This becomes such an overarching important concept. I really want you to be thinking about your own money, thinking about your own situation and what questions that you have that you'd like addressed as you come into the office or visit the website. So the whole concept is this. The very first thing that you need to do is make sure that you have a really strong foundation. This really boils down to making sure that you've got an income plan that you can never outlive. Ensuring that you know where that income's coming from, whether that's dividend-paying stocks, whether that's an annuity, whether that's whatever the case may be, bonds, that we have income that you know is going to create that stable foundation. Now, next, what's the next thing on the Boss Retirement Blueprint? I'll say it with me, inflation. Inflation is what ends up happening over time. If you've got a budget of $5,000 when you retire, over a 20-year time period, that's going to increase. It's literally going to double because inflation is at 3.28% as it sits right now on a 100-year average. Think about that. Most people never think 20 years down the road, what's my budget going to be? But when we create the Boss Retirement Blueprint, again, BOSS stands for Build the Optimal System of Security. We want to ensure that not only when you retire, we've got your income taken care of, but down the road, we continue to make sure you have the same standard of living. Now, the last piece of the house, when we're building this entire house is growth. That's another piece on the Boss Retirement Blueprint. But think about it. When we're building this house, we don't just start by throwing up some plywood and really just starting to hammer. We have a blueprint that we put in place. We want to make sure that when we build this house, we build it strong from a foundation standpoint. We have walls that can weather the storm. And then finally, we put that roof on the house that helps with the growth for your money. Growth is an important concept, but for most financial advisors, that's all you get. Think about your situation right now, whether it's in a 401k or whether you're with an advisor. Do you have income that you can never outlive? Do you have inflation as a piece of the puzzle? And lastly, do you have growth? In other words, in most cases, what ends up happening with a plan is you have this roof, and that's all you've got. What happens over here? There's no foundation, there's no walls, there's nothing to support that growth. And when a financial storm happens, when you've got a situation where the market goes down by 50% and it's got to come back by 100% just to break even, that foundation's not there. You have the equivalent of building your house upon the sand. As a result, where does that put you for the rest of your retirement? How do you ensure that you're doing the right thing for you and your spouse? After all, if you're a husband watching today and you pass first, what's going to happen to your wife? Is that a consideration? I know all of you want to make sure that you take care of her and that you make sure that she's got everything that she needs, whether you're there or not. That's all part of building that foundation. That's all part of building those walls. And then lastly, that growth still is so important to outpace inflation and make sure that you can leave a legacy to the next generation. As it relates to the financial house, make sure that you are a wise person and have built your financial house upon the rock, ensuring that you are where you need to be both now and all the way through your retirement. If you have any questions, please visit our website or come in and let's start a conversation.
You're watching Retirement Solutions Television, Utah's Retirement TV.
Remember when life was simpler? When things didn't move quite so fast, and the world didn't seem so complex? Remember that? We do. And as the world around us has continued to speed up, becoming more complicated and still a bit uncertain, we have managed to keep things simple, providing sound, easy-to-understand financial advice and customized roadmaps for the road ahead, from tax reduction strategies, investment advice, and guaranteed retirement income you cannot outlive, backed by the claims-paying ability of insurance companies. We can be your single point of contact, a single call, a voice you recognize well, and a partner who can be by your side for the entire journey. We can't stop the world around us, but we can help ensure you're prepared for what's to come. To schedule a no-obligation meeting, simply contact us today.
Having no clear retirement plan is a mistake I see a lot in my financial planning office when I meet with someone new. It is extremely rare that someone comes in and has a clearly defined income plan for his or her retirement. One way you will be able to get a clearly defined retirement income plan is to talk to an independent financial advisor who specializes in retirement planning. Not someone who is specialized in getting you to retirement, but someone who is dedicated to getting you through retirement. If you don't have a clear retirement plan, then be one of the first 5 callers and you will receive a free complimentary planning review. There is no obligation and no cost if you have at least $200,000 saved for retirement. Here's what you will receive: a free report to sort through your current advisor costs, a tailored plan to guard your investments, tax analysis to reduce liability and increase cash flow, and a custom income plan to boost retirement. Plus, you'll receive a budget assessment to help manage your cash flow. So call now for your free, no-obligation financial review.
You're watching Retirement Solutions Television, Utah's Retirement TV. Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's True or False. We have some great questions this week for Tyson and Ryan. And Ryan, I'm going to begin with you. My first question is, If you leave a company, you should leave your 401k there as well. True or false?
Without question, this is false, Mark. What we recommend is that you take control of your money. And being the boss of your money means that you're able to know exactly where it's at, what your options are, and what your plan and strategy is. We call this the 401k junk drawer. You know, like that drawer in your house where there's all these different pens and magnets. When, you know, in today's work environment, you're going to work for more than one employer. And as you change from company to company, it's important that you consolidate and bring those together. We really recommend that you go into an IRA so that you have control of that no matter which company that you're at.
You know, and the control piece really is all the options, right? You have
exactly
very, very
right.
limited options most of the time where your money may sit, where it sits in a 401k, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. People a lot of times will look at their 401k and think that they have a lot of options, but when we move that over to a IRA, they're surprised and shocked how many other options there really are.
Great. And my next question, Tyson, is for you. And it is, the single biggest concern of retirees and pre-retirees is the fear of outliving their nest egg. True or false?
This is absolutely true. In fact, that's probably the number one question that we hear when people walk through our door, when people come to a public workshop is, do I have enough? And they're really anxious to see this plan that we put into place, this one-page summary that we call the Boss Retirement Blueprint, that is able to show them and help them to see which bucket, how we make sure they have income for their entire life, how they can take care of inflation throughout their life, how to continue to grow their money, and make sure that they don't ever outlive their income.
And most seniors want to move back in with their kids, right, when they're in retirement?
That's right. It's the boomerang generation,
Yes,
right? They're just
yes.
heading back in. And think about, make your kids stay up late at night
Perfect.
while you're
Is
coming
very,
back
very
from
sweet.
that golf event, right? I mean, that would be a lot of fun.
Stay
Parents
up
are moving
late.
into yours, Ryan, not my house, yours.
They're welcome. Mom and Dad, you're welcome.
All right. And lastly, Ryan, this question I have for you is, fixed indexed annuities and variable annuities are very different products. True or false?
That is true. In fact, if you look at a variable annuity is like mutual funds tied to an annuity. It can go up and down with the market. There may be some guarantees that go along with that if you pay some additional fees. But the fixed indexed annuity, it's not tied to the market. So if the market goes down, you're not going to lose that market value. And understanding which vehicle you have is very, very important. I mean, Mark, as we know, there's good and bad mutual funds, there's good and bad annuities, there's good and bad real estate. It comes down to understanding what your individual need is and then designing and optimizing a plan to meet your needs.
And you know, this can be very confusing, Tyson, right? Because it has the word annuity attached with it. So correct me if I'm wrong here. The annuities that have gotten more of the bad press of late are which one?
The variable annuities. In fact, a lot of times people confuse all annuities as the same. They put them all in that same junk drawer that Ryan talked about just a few minutes ago and say, well, all annuities are bad. Or I'm never going to have an annuity because it's always a bad thing for me. That's what I've heard. That's what I understand. When in reality, in some cases, it can be a great strategy, but it's going to be customized for each individual. And we're going to look at that on a case-by-case basis.
Tyson, Ryan, thanks so much. Hey, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're watching Retirement Solutions Television, Utah's Retirement TV.
It's your retirement. How will you live it? How will you be remembered?
Will you be able to send me an invitation?
Will you be there for my ball games?
Will you teach me your values? You'll be able to play with me.
Oh, help me go to college. How will I remember you?
Have the retirement you dream about. Ask bossretirement.com.
Having no clear retirement plan is a mistake I see a lot in my financial planning office when I meet someone for the first time. It is extremely rare that someone comes in and has a clearly defined income plan for his or her retirement. One way you'll be able to get a clearly defined retirement income plan is to talk to an independent financial advisor who specializes in retirement planning. Not someone who specializes in getting you to retirement, but someone who is dedicated getting you through retirement. If you don't have a clear retirement plan, then be one of the first 5 callers and you'll receive a free complimentary planning review. There's no obligation and no cost if you have at least $200,000 saved for retirement. Here's what you'll receive: a free report to sort through your current advisor costs, a tailored plan to guard your investments, tax analysis to reduce your tax liability and increase your cash flow, and a customized income plan to boost your retirement. Plus, you'll receive a budget assessment to help you manage your cash flow. So call now for your free, no obligation financial review.
You're watching Retirement Solutions Television, Utah's Retirement TV. Hey guys, this is part 2 of a 2-part series. Social Security, so many questions, very big topic in households. We spoke a lot of things last week, a lot of different topics, but today I want to talk about taxes and Social Security. Ryan.
Of one thing, Mark, that's going to hit retirees like a ton of bricks, it's the taxes when it comes to Social Security. And here's the big challenge. Is a lot of you out there thinking, I've already paid my taxes on my Social Security, so I'm retired. Now I'm just going to be able to take this without any taxes. Here's the challenge is if you are married and you're taking that and you make more than $44,000 a year in what's called provisional income.
Again, $44,000.
So this is just other sources of income besides
a little
Social
bit less
Security.
for somebody who's single.
As much as 85% of your Social Security will be taxed.
Maddening.
So
that's maddening.
think about that. It could be just a fraction of what you were planning on to be able to spend in retirement. So the tax side is something that needs to be planned for. And this is something that you need to work with a tax advisor. We obviously don't give tax advice, but we have a team of attorneys that are tax attorneys and also CPAs that can help guide you through this, look at your individual situation, and they can give you some advice or talk with your tax professional or CPA on that. But this is a big, big deal in retirement. And if you're not planning for it, the ton of bricks are going to be really heavy.
Well, and what's amazing about it hasn't been that long. It's only been since the 90s that they started doing this, because they did take the money out from a tax perspective when they pulled it out of the check. We talked about the 12.4 last segment. But now they're getting taxed on it on the other side. And most people just have not had any planning as it relates to that and know about this.
And I remember you guys telling me, and obviously we always change the names to protect the innocent, but sometimes, and it was a couple you were telling me about, some simple repositioning of where you take money out of your portfolio, zero taxes or getting very close to that.
That's always the goal, Mark, is to get as close to zero in paying taxes as possible. We're going to structure somebody's Boss Retirement Blueprint, the money that they take out first from the income bucket, to be as tax-free as possible. But at the same time, if there's required minimum distributions and some other things going on, we're going to structure it all the way along throughout their retirement life to minimize those taxes. That's automatically what we do as part of that planning process.
And I know there are the skeptics out there. Oh, come on now. Zero tax? There's